Hey guys, Ninja here, and welcome back to some more Enigmatica 8. In today's episode, we get a little carried away setting up some new mob farms. We have both our mob duplicator and a mob crusher with tier 2 upgrades and a tier 4 range add-on. We also finally take the time to upgrade our reactor to the nitro level, while also finishing the questline for the Powah mod. To get started today, we're going to take a quick peek around and see what we've been working on since the last episode. We've actually got quite a bit knocked out. We did have a stream since the last episode came out where we worked on our mega base for a couple of hours. Plus, I've been working on doing a few other things around the base as well off camera. And the first thing you'll notice is we've moved our laser room around. So our laser drills are now down in our platform where we built a little area where we mirrored our block palette for our mega base. And we put glass in as a floor and maintain the glowstone lighting. I think this looks really cool. Obviously, this space isn't really usable now because of the glass floor, but space is something that we have in large quantities in this base. We have plenty of room for additional machines and farms. We did add one more to it, so we now have 5 laser drill setups. And the one in the middle, I believe, is the one that is dedicated to just the yellow. So, well, I shouldn't say dedicated, it's fully weighted to yellow. So you will get other things, but it's got the max weighting it can have for one item, which is the yellow weighting, which gives us a lot of gold and glowstone. And if you remember in our previous episode, we said we were going to keep tabs on how much we were getting. And if we take a look at our inventory, you can see we are now up to 20,000 glowstone. So going and mining glowstone manually is done, which is one of the few things we were still manually mining. But definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments. We're going to head on down one more floor. That's right. There is now one more floor in our mega base. We've added a small basement. I don't plan to do too much down here. We'll just see. It could evolve. But we do now have a basement that is in our platform. And we've added a couple mob farms. So this will probably expand a little bit. And they're pretty basic right now. We're using a mob slaughter factory so we can get pink slime and meat, which we don't really need the meat, but we are collecting it. And we're also using a mob crusher so we can get blaze rods and ender pearls. So this is how we're getting blaze rods and ender pearls. We'll probably add a few more farms. We can continue to go that way if we want. I've also left a little area here, so if we want, we can expand out into our platform. I do have one more idea besides mob farms for down below, but we probably won't do too much down here. And it's obviously a lot darker than this. The only lighting down here is the glowstone and a couple mega torches, which I have spread out. We're actually only using 2. I had a recommendation from somebody that you didn't want to use a whole lot of these mega torches because they can cause lag. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but he seems to know what he's talking about. So we'll go with that. Let's see if we can make it up in here. Yeah, we did. All right. These 2 mob grinders, the crusher and the slaughter factory, are both being powered by our flex point, and we have, as you saw below, we're using an import bus to pull all of the goodies. We also have some RF tools redstone set up so we can turn them on and off, although that doesn't really work for the blazes because they ignore light. They'll spawn anyways. So if we cut these lights on, the endermen I think will quit spawning, but the blazes, yeah, see, the blazes will continue to spawn. Now over here, if we cut this light on, the mobs that we're using for pink slime and the meat will stop spawning. But we're going to leave that on because we still, as long as that's been running, we're only up till I think like 14 buckets of pink slime. It looks like we're up to 18 buckets. So we had a little bit more than I thought, but still not a lot. It's been running for quite some time. But that, for the most part, is the major things worth showing off that we've been working on. I think what we're going to do now is head over to our tree farm and switch that out because I logged on, and the first thing I do when I log on usually is check our inventory levels. And it looks like we have almost 300,000 Achaea logs. And I think it's time to switch that over to something else. So I was looking at what we had, and I think the next one we're going to farm a whole bunch of is this aspen log. So I believe we have some saplings for that. Let's take a look here. Oh yeah, we got a whole bunch of them. So we're gonna go work on switching that out. So now that we got our tree farm switched over to our new log type, we're gonna work on pulling the sludge out of our plant gatherer. And the default function of this is if you just leave it alone, it will fill up with sludge and then it will just continue to process but not create any more sludge. So we're kind of wasting the sludge. It has a few uses that we may look into using, and we got plenty of room for more storage drives. So we're gonna work on integrating this into our plot energistic system. On this end, we're going to do it with an ender tank. So we're just going to sit an ender tank right there. And this is color coded to black, which I'm not sure what we were using that for, but we're going to switch it over to all purple, which we're not using. And since the sludge is like a purple color, it kind of makes sense. So we're going to slap a diamond on it. And then we do have a mechanical pipe. So we're going to slick that right there. Use our configurator to export. And now sludge is going into this ender tank. Now we're going to head up to our workshop area and set up another ender tank with an import bus somewhere so we can start pulling into our system. We also need to get a bucket of that and partition a new drive. So let's head up to our workshop. So I think I figured out a spot where we want to put this, and we're going to put it right there. We should have enough lanes on this cable to add something. So we're going to pop this glass out. We're going to put our tank up there, our other one. We'll actually need to fly up and color code this. Oh, this may actually be a little bit tricky. Let's pull that other cable off, and now we should be able to color code it, slap a diamond on it. Now we actually need to grab a bucket. We'll go ahead and grab an import bus and one acceleration card. That should be more than enough. We probably don't even need one. And then we need a bucket. And we're going to go over here and we're going to take a bucket of that sludge. Oh, there we go. And now that we have a bucket of that, well, before we can start adding it to our system, we need to craft a drive, and I forget what those are called. I guess we could just go 64K, and it doesn't look like we have any, so we're going to craft one of these real quick. So we now have a 64K fluid storage cell, and we have some issues with our Certs quartz and Fluix quartz crafting. It's such a pain in the butt. This mod pack has a few issues. Unfortunately, the developers have, for the most part, moved on to Enigmatica non-development. I realize 1.18 Minecraft isn't perfect, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more refinement and completion for the quest book. I realize performance will never be perfect, but they definitely could have done a little bit more to finish this pack up before focusing on E9. So looking at Certs quartz, there's a couple different ways that you can craft the various items that you need, which is primarily the Certs quartz crystal and the Fluix quartz crystal. There's a couple mechanisms for using these ores, and we have a whole bunch of them. As you can see, we got 14,000 and 10,000. Now, if we right click these, you can see that you can run them through an enrichment chamber. Well, look at that. You see that, right? It's a double recipe. So sometimes you'll get Certs quartz dust. Sometimes you'll get charged Certs quartz crystal. I have not figured out a way to say I only want this. It's really frustrating. Okay, well, we'll use a different machine. Well, if we go over to the pulverizer, it only shows one, except it will give you the other two. it's really frustrating. I keep tweaking my patterns, and it really messes with my ability to autocraft. This is just one of several weird recipe issues with this mod pack. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of fun playing this. We're going to continue to play it. It's just little issues like this that are simple fixes. I get 1.18 isn't the most optimized for performance, but there are plenty of other 1.18 mod packs that are just fine. And I just would like to see them finish up the quest book and fix a few broken recipes. I don't need additional mods. I don't need better performance. I just would like a completed mod pack before they put so much focus on E9. It's unfortunate because it is a pretty good pack. I have had immense fun. There's just a few minor things like this that are frustrating. But enough on that. I went off on a little tangent. I apologize about that. We do have our fluid storage cell, so we're now going to throw that in our cell workbench. We are going to clear config because we don't want that, and we are going to right click 5 times. Oop. Well, I have messed that all up. Can I just click here and there? Yep, there we go. So we got 5. And now it's partitioned to only accept sludge. So we're going to go add this to our stack. And I'm sure I've showed this before, but with the way we're controlling fluids is by just partitioning a drive. So we don't fill up our system with one type of fluid like water, because we can generate that very quickly and in large quantities. But we don't need a whole bunch of it. So we have 520,000 buckets worth of water on just one cell. And if we need more than that, we can add another drive. And I'm doing this for every single fluid type. I mean, we have plenty of space. That way I don't have to like set up redstone mechanisms for controlling the levels. I can just import bus, max speed, and then partition the drive so it locks it to just that one drive. So now we have introduced sludge into our system. What I would like to do now, if we take a look at our quest book, I think we can, 1, upgrade our reactor to its max capabilities, as well as finish the Powah quest line. And that's what we're going to work on. So some of this we've already done, but because we did it in our refined storage crafting without putting it into our inventory, we didn't get the rewards or the checkoff for doing it because it didn't touch our inventory. So we're gonna have to go through and craft these one at a time and put them in our inventory so we get the reward for them. Some of this stuff we'll probably have to craft that we'll never use, but I would really like to complete the Powah quest line in today's episode and get our nitro level quest, or I should say our nitro level quest and generator setup, or reactor, whatever you want to call it. And we'll have extra blocks, but that's okay. We'll just have to see how that goes. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So we did forget to set up our ender tank so it was being imported into our system. So we have went ahead and added an import bus, as you can see behind it. And if we take a peek into our system, you can see we now have 103 buckets of sludge. And once that drive is filled up, it won't accept anymore, but we'll have plenty if we need to use it. Now, if we start taking a look at our Powah and finishing up this quest line, which is going to be the focus for the majority of the rest of the episode, this is actually going to take quite a bit because I forgot that these little nitro crystals require a nether star, something that we don't have. It also takes a block of blazing crystal, which shouldn't be too hard to get, but we do need to set up a way to get nether stars. And the way we're going to do that is with Industrial Foregoing. So we're going to continue to work on Industrial Foregoing in this episode as well. And if we go look at Industrial Foregoing, actually it would be better to just look up nether star. We're going to get a nether star from killing withers, and we're going to get withers by using the wither builder from Industrial Foregoing. And then we're going to use a mob crusher to instantly kill that wither so it doesn't damage anything. And that will give us 1 nether star per wither. But we also need wither skulls in order to build a wither. So you need 3 per wither. And we're going to need at least 16 nether stars at minimum. But I would like to have a way to farm them and get as many as we need. So we're going to use the mob duplicator from Industrial Foregoing in order to duplicate withers. So we're going to use we have one in our backpack, so we'll go take a look. We're going to use our mob imprisonment tool to go get a wither from the nether. And then we're going to build 2 additional farms down below. So we'll head down there and I'll explain what we're going to do. Now that we're down in our mob farm area, we're going to basically replicate this 2-chamber farm and put it on the other side of this wall and extend the hallway. And that will give us an area to set up a mob duplicator with a mob crusher like we have over here, and then a mob crusher with a wither builder so we can farm wither or nether stars. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but we're going to get started with building out the area first, and then we're going to go head to the nether, capture a wither, and get our farms up and running. So the complexities of farming nether stars continues to grow. We had to add a whole new section down here, and we'll get to why later. Well, hopefully, if we get that far in today's episode. But for now, let's go over how we're going to farm wither skeletons. And actually, any other random mob that we capture with an imprisonment tool, we can use this duplicator to farm them. We have both our mob duplicator and a mob crusher with tier 2 upgrades and a tier 4 range add-on. We have an import bus pulling everything from our mob crusher into our system like down there. We also have an export bus coming in the side here of our duplicator, keeping it full of essence. We can also go ahead and drop our imprisoned wither skeleton in here. It ain't going to do anything because we're using a redstone receiver and transmitter to control it, as well as our redstone lamps. You know me, I love my RF tools, receivers, and transmitters. Oh, I didn't mean to turn it on. Well, there's a little sneak peek. As you can see, it generates a lot of wither skeletons. I don't know if our mob crusher can keep up with that. Well, it's clearly not. It's taking a little bit of time. We may have to pull those upgrades out. Before we flip this back on, though, I want to look at our essence real quick, just so you can see how much we have. And over time, this will obviously go up as our farms continue to run. See, yeah, we have almost 1,000 buckets of essence. This thing chews through quite a bit. And for some reason, our mob crusher isn't powered. Bit of a minor derpy moment. I don't know if that's justification for a full-on derpy moment, but we'll go ahead and add our power back, and it should clear those out. Okay, so we are ready to test this bad boy again. So let's go ahead and flip it on. And I did just learn something about wither skeletons. Oh yeah, it's definitely keeping up with it. So let's see how much essence this is using while it's running full blast. And we will recover some of that essence too because of the mob crusher. So it's definitely using more than we're generating, but it could run quite a while. And then obviously we can build up a huge supply. But you actually don't get, or you may get wither skeletons from this. Oh yeah, we're definitely getting some heads. But the nice thing is we're getting a ton of this skull fragment, which I just discovered. Yeah, we just got 2 more heads. Oh, we got a couple more heads. You could take these skull fragments and actually craft a full skull. So we're gonna go set an auto craft for that using these. Plus we have the ones we're getting from the farm. And that is how we're gonna get our wither skeleton heads. And we're also getting tons of necrotic bone. I went for it. I didn't know if I could pronounce it. I went for it. But step 1 is done. Step 2, we're gonna go ahead and flip this off. Step 2, and I'm curious, just one last check. Let's see how much essence that used up. So yeah, we're already back over 900 buckets. So it can't keep up, but it's pretty close. We could probably set up another one of these, but there's no need. There's no need. This is not going to run full time. We can also use this to farm any other random mobs, like maybe a slime, some magma cubes that we want to capture and keep a inventory of those and run them randomly. So hopefully we won't have to expand our mob farming capabilities any further. So right here is where we're going to actually put our wither farm, but we're not quite ready for that because I was not paying attention. And what I want to build is this wither builder for our farm. But in order to do that, you need a supremium machine frame. And this is like the last tier of industrial foregoing we haven't gotten into. And to build one of these, you need ether gas. And you get this from using a fluid laser drill to farm a wither. It is a pretty little compact, complex setup. I have done a little bit of research. I think I can set this up without destroying our base. We're going to set it up in here. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So I have our ether farm set up and hopefully this works. I did some research and watched a few YouTube videos, and this is the design that I decided to go with. It's a little modified to fit our little area here. But essentially, I discovered this machine from Industrial Foregoing called a stasis chamber. And we're going to use this to hold a wither in its charging up state in place, so it won't be able to attack or do damage. And I've surrounded the area with this hardened glass from Thermal Series. Hopefully this will help if something goes wrong. But as long as this thing stays full of power, he won't attack or do anything. And it is turned off at the moment. And we're going to farm him with a fluid laser base with a purple laser lens is what I believe we need. And we have 4 laser drills pointed to our laser base. And we have these fully upgraded with tier 2. And they are powered. I don't think you actually have to power this. And I'm not sure how we would if we needed to. Out the top, we have a mechanical pipe going into an ender tank. So we can monitor it and see if we're actually getting any ether by looking at this tank. Now, we're going to integrate this into our system just like we did with our sludge. And we did do light gray across because that kind of sort of looks like the ether. And of course, we have our trusty redstone lamps. So let's go ahead and build a wither. I'm really kind of nervous about this. Oh, before we do that, let's turn our stasis chamber on, because that would be bad if this wasn't running. I also think this, on top of holding it in place, so like we'll go in here and you'll see, oh, ooh, yeah, see, we're stuck, but we can use our jet pack to get off of it. And it does that weird zoom as well. As long as it's powered, it will run, and it has a dedicated flux point. As long as, like I said, as long as it's powered, it will continue to run. And I think it will also heal, because as we farm for ether, it'll do a little bit of damage to the wither. So we'll just have to see. With it stuck in its charge up state though, or charging up state, I should say, I don't know if it actually take damage, which is why they were farming it the way they were. So let's go ahead and build this. Oh, I got stuck on it again. We're going to have to be really careful about this. So let's build it. Okay, we're going to get our glass ready to go back in place. And we're going to attach our last piece of soul sand and our last wither skeleton. And let's hope we don't just destroy our base. This should work. So it's stuck in its charging up state by the stasis chamber. And it's also looks like it might be getting healed. I'm not sure, but let's go ahead and put our glass back. We should have just enough to fill that in. And I think this is working. I think I see fluid coming up out of there. Let's go take a look. Yep, we've already got 240 millibuckets. So this is working. This is awesome right here. We can just leave this alone. As long as we have power, the stasis chamber will run. If we ever lose power, ooh, that wouldn't be pretty. Maybe we shouldn't have put this at the bottom of our base, because withers tend to blow things up and go up. And this is like right below. Well, this is over in the corner, so it would be around the Botania Dome. But we are going to take this tank and head up to our workshop and get this integrated into our system. All right, we're ready to integrate our ender tank into our applied energy system so it can start feeding our system ether. We're gonna go ahead and pick that up, and I did disable this temporarily because I knew it was gonna get in the way. We're gonna bust this glass off. We're gonna jump up here. We should have an import bus. We're gonna go ahead and throw an import bus on that cable. And we're gonna right click it, add one acceleration card. And then we already have a bucket of ether, which we're gonna need for a couple of things. So we're gonna go ahead and click this. Well, actually, before we do that, we need to map our storage cell to ether. So let's get rid of all that. There's 5, and then we'll partition it. All right, so it is partitioned. We're gonna head downstairs and add this to our drive bay. Now that's in our drive bay, we can go ahead and add our ender tank. We'll hop back up on our RF tools box, add that, and it should start draining into the system. Yes. So we now have introduced ether into our applied energy system. This is going to open up the doors for some pretty advanced industrial foregoing auto crafting. And the first of these is going to be the final machine frame for industrial foregoing. So the supreme machine frame. And we're going to add that to, well, we need to go down 2 floors. Oh, we went down too far. We go down right here. So our advanced one is here. So we're going to put it right here. There's no fluid in that. So that's the 3rd one over. It'll be this one right here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add the pattern for our supreme machine frame. And we should have an export bus, so we can go ahead and right click ether. And it should start filling up with ether. Yeah, we don't have a lot, but it doesn't take a lot. So now we can go around to the front. And I believe it was the next one. All right, it's this one. We are going to add the components needed for the first one so we can lock the craft. Now we'll go ahead and lock it, and we are crafting our first supreme machine frame. That is incredible. And now we have our first one. We may go ahead and try to grab that real quick. I don't know if that's a craft or not. Yes, that was a quest. Sweet. So we'll go ahead. Oh, we can't put it back, but we'll go ahead and drop that into our system. And now we can craft our first wither builder using our very first supreme frame. Ooh, it needs another star. Well, that's a catch-22. I thought we had a couple nether stars. I guess we haven't gotten another star yet. So let's work on building a wither somewhere safe. and getting another star. So what I decided to do is go ahead and set up all the components of our wither farm except the wither builder. And in theory, we should just be able to manually build it in here, and it should crush it instantly without doing any damage, and we'll get the drops. And it's powered, it's got an import bus, it's got all the upgrades. We've already added our lights, which are functioning. So this should work. I am a bit nervous, but we're gonna go ahead and do it. We're gonna go ahead and do it. So we're gonna manually build it. We're gonna drop this stuff on there. We're gonna get out of there. We're not gonna let it see us. We'll wait for it to build. I don't think it can see us through this tinted glass. And yeah, it instantly died. So that's what we wanted. And it didn't actually do any damage because the area is claimed. And we should now be able to craft the wither builder. Yep, there's our another star. And wow, that was instant. Well, we already had the most complex component, the supreme machine frame. So now we should be able to go over here, knock out a hole. We'll actually knock out two. We're going to drop our wither builder in. We are going to pull this cable down. And actually, did we come in on that side? Just to it don't really matter. We're going to come in like this. And we're going to put a pattern provider right here. And we're going to tell it, we actually need to go up to our workshop. So let's do that real quick. Now that we're up at our workshop, we're going to have to set up a custom pattern so we can auto craft nether stars. And can we, yeah, we could do something like, no, we only want a single one. Is there not a way to get rid of just the, yeah, there we go. We only want to do one. We're going to get rid of all of that. And we actually want 3 skulls. I can't believe you can't do it like that. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. And we want 4 pieces of soul sand. Oh, we don't want all that. We just want 4 pieces. So we'll do it this way. Now all the system knows is in order to get another star, it needs to send to that specific machine via the pattern provider 3 wither skeleton skulls and 4 soul sand. So we're going to go ahead and craft that. Now that we're back down here, I've gotten to thinking about this. And this might work. We may need to integrate a chest, which is how I usually do it. But we're going to try to be smart about it and just do it directly. And we're going to do that. So now it's connected. And we're going to go back out of here. Oh, I might be stuck. Let's see if we can find a way out. We may have to go all the way around. And then up through the hole. Now, if we take a look at this. Oh, we forgot to add power. Well, we're going to be smart this time. We have our flux point ready to go. We're going to add our power. And now it's getting powered. And like I said, I don't know if this will work. Usually I use a chest. So I send all the ingredients to a chest and then send them to the weather builder. But let's try it. Let's just see what happens. And we do need to craft some add-ons. I don't guess it really matters. But let's try. Let's try to craft another star. So yes, that did work. We did not need to use the chest. It will build and then instantly break him. And bye-bye. So we will go ahead and upgrade this just for giggles. So we need to craft one of those, and one of those. And while we wait on those, we can go ahead and add a facade to cover that. And our add-ons are done. And with that, our farm and upgrades are complete. I did not intend to get into all this today, but man, has it been fun. We can now farm wither skeletons. And quite quickly at that. We can farm nether stars, or I should say withers. And we can actually auto craft nether stars. And we're passively getting ether with a very creative setup that is pretty awesome. That's probably what the stasis chamber was primarily designed to do, and that's the same original wither, so that's pretty incredible. But now it is time to head up to our workshop and finally upgrade our reactor. So now that we're back in our workshop, we can finally work on finishing our reactor upgrades and the Powah quest line, which I hope to knock out today. So what we need to do is recraft 32 of the niotic capacitors and 48 of the spirited capacitors. Although this is something we already done, like I mentioned before, since they didn't touch our inventory, we didn't get the completion for those. So we'll go ahead and do that. So 32 of these. And that did finish, so we'll go ahead and add those 4 to our stack. And now we completed the quest. We'll take those rewards, and now we need to work on the next here, which is, well, it just wants one of those. We should be able to just do one of those. I don't forget what they were called, some type of crystal maybe. Yeah, the nitro crystal. We should be able to do one of those. Oh, we're missing the block of blazing crystal. We need to craft a pattern for that. So, and now we should be able to do one of these crystals. Man, just one of these uses, well, it actually crafts 16, but we're going to need quite a few. And it will take a while because it did take too long. It uses a lot of power, but those things are pretty sweet, actually. So that's one more quest completed. We will take that. Ooh, I think that knocked out a quest. If it did, it is not showing up. A fully charged basic induction cell. So we have this, but we are going to work on the next bit here, which is how many of these? 64. Wow. All right, let's drop all this in there. We'll throw that in there for now. This bucket of ether. And we're going to go back to capacitor, and we're going to craft 64. Or we're going to try to. I don't know if we have enough stuff to do this. Yeah, I think we do. All right, let's go ahead and hit start and watch this go. All right, that did finish, so we're going to go ahead and yank those out, get the quest completion for that. Let's see what we get. Oh, we got some XP. Show off your progress. That's cool. I'm not sure what that is, but it looks neat. And we got some random reward. And now we are going to go grab our reactor components because we need to use those to upgrade to the latest one, because I don't have to craft all those all over again. If we take a look at that, it's simply yeah, it's going to take one of each of ours, those nitro capacitors and the uranium, which we should have plenty of. We'll just check just to make sure to get ready. We actually don't have, we have one. Let's take that one out so we can just go ahead and craft like 200. Now we're going to go and grab our reactor components. So we got our reactor components. And we need to do this. Well, I was going to say we need to do this quickly because we are not currently generating power, but we have a massive buffer. So let's go ahead and throw those in our system. We're going to go to reactor and we're going to craft 36 of the nitro reactor components. And this shouldn't take long. Yeah, it's already done before I could explain why. Because we already had the biggest component, which took about 5 minutes to craft, done already. So we can go ahead and head downstairs and put our reactor back together. Boom, it's back on. It's filling back up with dry ice, redstone. We're gonna turn auto mode back on. And now this has a 500 million buffer, which is just incredible. And look how much power it's generating. 400 and oh my goodness. That's insane. And it doesn't seem to be using very much more fuel. Wow. I should have checked to see how much fuel it was using before, but it's probably using a little more, but not what I would consider like a crazy amount that we need to worry about. Because I mean, once it fills up and flips off, but it's generating close to 500 FE a tick. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Pretty happy with this. So we're getting really close to wrapping this episode up. Finish up, I would like to do two major things, and one of those is of course finish our power quest line, and that shouldn't take too long. I did a little work here getting some patterns ready to go for things we're probably never going to use, but I was feeling kind of lazy and I just set up all these power items as auto crafts. Now we are going to have to go and get a few things from the world, but we can go through here and do a few of these. So we're going to grab our energy cables from our system because we actually already had some of these. We must have got them from a reward or built them earlier. So we're going to go ahead and put those back. And now we need to just go ahead and craft a few things. So we're going to craft this thermo generator. And just in case you're curious, I mean, we can take a quick moment to look at the recipe for some of these. They're pretty straightforward. They're all very similar and kind of build upon the previous item. So these are pieces that you've seen us craft before, so we won't go into how to craft those. And the Magnimator uses a bucket, the Furninator uses a furnace, and the Thermo Generator uses these thermo plates, and the starter one uses just another thermo plate, which is simply redstone, some blaze powder, and a basic capacitor. So that's how you craft the items we just crafted. And the energy cells, pretty straightforward. They're just iron, some capacitors. You'll see a pretty similar recipe for a lot of the Powah stuff. And do we have anything else that we can craft at the moment? At Ender Gate, let's see, I think that's craftable at the moment. And now we have an Ender Gate. We'll accept that. And now we are pretty much done with everything we can do. We got to do a couple things here. So to finish this bottom out, we need to do this player transmitter. And in order to build this player transmitter, we need... actually, we might be able to do this basic one. No, because it requires the starter one. And the starter one requires a player of aerial pearl. And a player aerial pearl, you use a regular aerial pearl on a zombie or a husk. So we got to go find a zombie, probably grab one of our spawners and just spawn a couple, or go out in the world and find a couple. But we also need to do this Lens of Ender, which requires us to use a photoelectric pane on an Enderman or Endermite. So we can get those from our mob down below, and we can find us a zombie spawner temporarily to spawn a couple zombies. So we're going to work on that now. So we were able to craft the last few items that we needed to finish off the Powah quest line. Well, almost, which leads us to our final task for today's episode. And what we need to do once I accept all these rewards and then dump this stuff in our system is fill up a basic induction cell. Unfortunately, the one we're using downstairs that is full, by the way, isn't advanced. So we're going to set up another one temporarily, a basic one, just so we can finish this quest line. So it's going to take a little time for that to fill up. So we're going to go ahead and build this, and then we're going to wait for it to fill up. And then we're going to wrap today's episode up. But this also gives us an opportunity to upgrade the one we're using to an ultimate. And that way we don't have to worry about our stasis chamber running out of power by accident and freeing that wither downstairs, which we don't want to happen. So let's work on those two tasks, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So it looked like it finally finished up. Man, that took forever. So we're going to pull that out real quick. If we can get to it. I think we just need to pick that right there up. And wow, listen to that. There's that beautiful sound I love hearing. Another quest completed. Let's put this back. And we're going to just rebuild this real quick. And boom, just like that. And we already have some stuff ready to go, so we can turn this into our temporary primary. We do need to get our configurator, which I already got ready to go, and set this one to output, so it will keep main full. And then this should be pulling from our source, which is our reactor. And then this one is keeping main full. All right, so what we're gonna do now is, yeah, so that source, and oh wait, no, yeah, these are set up the same way, so yeah. All right, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna break this one temporarily. And we're gonna just go ahead and grab these advanced ones. And we should be able to throw these in our system. And now we're gonna tell it to craft an ultimate induction cell. Ooh, we are missing, oh, we are gonna need a bunch more lithium. A bunch more lithium. And I don't have that set up over here. So that sounds like a project for the next episode, because we need to wrap this episode up because we're already kind of running long. So we're going to put this back, and it should just go right back to being functioning. Yep. So it's no big deal. We got 2 induction cells, and we may actually leave those, and maybe we'll do both at ultimate. Well, that'd be cool. But in the next episode, or in between episodes, since it's something we've already set up, I'm going to move our lithium production over and fix our crafts, and probably just go ahead and craft the ultimate induction cell and get it up and running. We'll just have to see. But for today, I think that is going to be a wrap. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions or feedback, please leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. This is Agro Ninja, and that's a wrap.